I'm Daryl Davis, and today I am the face of America. I'm a 62-year-old professional musician, and in my pastime, or part-time, which is becoming my full-time, I'm a race relations consultant and expert. And I spend a lot of time with neo-Nazis and the Ku Klux Klan. And what's interesting about that is, as you can see, I'm Black. I was raised all over the world because my father was part of the State Department, the U.S. Foreign Service. So my mother, my father, and myself traveled all over the world, living in various countries for 2 years and then coming back home and then be reassigned to another country for 2 years. So I lived in Africa, I lived in Europe, I visited many countries on other continents. When you combine my travels as a child with parents in the U.S. Foreign Service as an American Embassy brat, combined with my travels today as a professional musician, I have been in 57 different countries on 6 continents. You know, having taken me around the world at such a young age, when I'm sponging in information and my personality and my perspectives are being shaped, at the same time I was being exposed to a multitude of religions, ethnicities, cultures, nationalities, etc. And all of that helped, shape who I am today. This country has a unique history compared to many other countries. It is a melting pot of people, number one, but it also has a history of slavery, where people who look like me were considered pieces of property. And we were bought and sold on the courthouse steps. The courthouse is the place where you go for justice. But because we were not considered to be full human beings, it was like, selling animals at the farm or something. And that's exactly what it was. Families were divided, kids were sold to one slave owner and parents were sold to another slave owner, and that kind of thing. Even when slavery ended, it did not end completely. Maybe the physical aspect of being bound had ended, but the mentality had not ended, and there was no equality. And so that lends itself to groups that are created and have been created in order to separate Black people from white people. And I say the word, the races, but in reality, there's only one race. It's the human race. Races is a man-made construct, but for our purposes, I'll just use that word loosely. And people join these organizations for various reasons. That being one, they don't want to see their identity being compromised through miscegenation and things like that. They feel that they are pure, they have the superior intelligence and all that kind of thing, and it would be defiled and compromised if they were to mix with other races. So they try to keep that division going. Also, people join these groups because they're brought up in an environment in which that is prevalent. So if you move to a city or a town where there is a lot of racist stuff there, if you want to get along and do business in that town, you have to assimilate. So you join the local chamber of commerce, you join the local country club, and you join the local Ku Klux Klan. And that's how you get along. In other cases, it may be a socioeconomic thing where the people, white people I'm talking about, are not racist at all. They're happy, they're working, they're making their money. And when people are happy, they're happy for other people. But when you are hurt, then you want to lash out and hurt somebody else. Thus the saying, hurt people hurt people. And so let's say you take a depressed coal mining town, and most coal miners are white. Then after decades of working for this company, the company gets greedy, and they say, hey, you know what? We could save a lot of money and make a lot more money if we lay off our workers and hire those immigrants that just came. So the Klan comes to a town like this, holds a rally, and says, the Blacks have the NAACP, the Jews have the ADL. Nobody stands up for the white man but the Ku Klux Klan. Your job is not gone, but you're gone. You got some such and such, racial epithet, working there in your job? Why is he there and you're not there? Your family has worked there, for the last 50 years, starting with your great-grandfather, and you work there. Now, why are you sitting here with no money? We're the only organization that takes care of the white man. Come join us. We will get your job back. I've never set out to convert anyone. When you see my name in the media and things like that, usually you'll say something to the effect of, over the years, it says, black musician converts 50 Klansmen, black musician converts over 200 Klansmen. All these things. The numbers are correct, but the process is wrong. I did not convert anyone. Yes, I am the impetus for all these conversions, but they converted themselves. All I did was sit down and have conversations, repeated conversations. The first conversation, I'm planting a seed. I'm listening to them. I'm giving them a platform to tell me what's wrong with me, what's wrong with the world, what's wrong with Jewish people, other black people, gay people, whatever. Because usually, when they start talking like that, they get shut down. They get opposition, and it becomes who can be louder, who's the strongest to clash. I'm one of their targets, just by the color of my skin. They think very lowly of me. But here I am sitting there listening to them and not punching back. When they tell me that black people are inferior because we have smaller brains, that we're lazy, we want to scam the government welfare system, or that we're prone to crime, and that's why there are more black people in prison than white people. Now, let's be clear here. I don't respect what they're saying, but I respect their right to say it. And that's what they want. People want to be, we all want to be heard. When they go home at the end of the day and they have to think about, I just had a conversation with somebody that I hate. And some of the things he said make sense, but he's black. I can't believe it. But it's true, but he's black. So they're having this cognitive dissonance. They know it's true, but they don't like the source, so they got to figure it out themselves. And so then the next time I see them, I water that seed that I planted. I give it more nutrition, more nourishment, and each subsequent time. And so finally, they come to the conclusion, you know what? Do I continue on my path believing a lie, or do I believe the truth and choose a different path? So then they end up converting themselves.